Hello and welcome back to some more Kerbal Space program. So let's just make sure we're in the right position, and we are. Yes, as you might notice, this is a different kind of craft, namely one that has landing legs. And that's because our... Excuse me, let's just make sure that all the cables are arranged properly around my head with this crazy headset. Anyway, you might have noticed that I have renamed my Duna Space Station videos to Duna Science Station videos because we are expanding the mission to include a ground base, and to that end we will launch the first of several pieces of that ground base today, and we will be using a newly designed launcher which will act as a workhorse vessel to launch a great many things into orbit. Essentially, I designed a standardized launcher that can get 45 tons into low Kerbin orbit, and I'll be constructing various modules on top of it and launching them that way, since I got tired of designing new launch vehicles for every single thing I launch. So, without further ado, let's launch. So, the thrust to weight ratio could be a bit better on this, but overall it can reliably and safely get 45 tons, or nearly 50 tons, since it's 45 tons is a bit conservative. It can get 45 plus tons of trash into low Kerbin orbit, so that gives me a pretty decent payload for building a module and getting it to someplace like Duna. In fact, that's kind of enough for a great many missions if you think about it. So yeah, all in all, I'm happy with this design. It makes for a very, well, useful vehicle in that it is predictable. Every time I fly it, I know what to expect, I know its weaknesses, its strengths, I know what to expect, and I've managed to design a pretty safe and reliable launch system. As you can see, it uses asparagus staging for maximum fuel efficiency, and it's rated to get something weighting 45 or so tons into low Kerbin orbit and still have 500-600 meters per second of delta V left in the final stage for whatever orbital maneuvers it might need to do. And all in all, that makes for a pretty decent launch system, in that it allows me to launch, well, as you can see, it allows me to launch a Duna base module with a landing system and an interplanetary stage. So all in all, I'd say pretty damn good. 45 degrees there. Yes, rotation. The rotation is unfortunate. I might want to replace these delta wings with winglets for extra control, but mostly that's because I have a lot of wobble here. It's a very tall craft and it has a lot of weight, top heavy. I should have constructed it a bit differently, I suppose. Of course, that can be helped now, but you know. But even so, I mean, we will be using this launch system to launch all three of our currently planned modules for the ground station, and we'll have to try to put those pieces pretty damn close to each other, which means that, well, for one thing, we will sync our orbits with either Ike or the current Duna base in order to come in equatorially. Let's turn further horizontally and keep burning. We will do more or less a straight up shot upwards. until we detach this stage, well, not upwards, but into space. Now the idea is to, in this case, use the last part of this, most of it anyway, to, well, we'll use it as a booster in order to help us get as close to a Duna intersect as possible, and those need to be detached. Goodbye. And then we will try to slam it back into Kerbin if possible. That's the idea. This booster stage slams back into Kerbin, and yes, it does have a nuclear engine here, while having another one here that's currently being unused, and that does make it somewhat less efficient. I am well aware of that. However, that's the danger of a standardized launcher. Unfortunately, it had to be this way. I'm sorry, but it did. We'll also build a series of signal relays, since the signals and the radiation and the noise emitted by the various plants are interfering with communications. And the way that's gonna work is like well, like a bucket chain or silent telephones, I suppose, where a packet of information is passed from one satellite, then when it has line of sight on another satellite, it transmits that information to the next satellite, and that in turn transmits it to the next point, and so on. So that, say, the ground station sends a packet up to the space station, that in turn sends it to a satellite in Duna orbit, that in turn might send it to a satellite in a Kerbal orbit or in orbit around Kerbin, and that in turn would send it down to the KSC. And that's the way it would work. Yes, and this is being slow, unfortunately. Okay. Actually, screw that. Decouple. We'll do it like this. Do not torch that! Not that it would have really damaged that, but okay, we can assume to have a re-entry on that there. Not what I wanted, thank you. Yeah, I did recently redesign it since the last iteration. Whoa, no. That we do much later. Damn it. Okay, we need to turn around and start burning. And all the staging is of course screwed up now. Move away from that piece of worthless space trash. Ooh! What are you doing? Turn around! Jesus Christ! Do you not have an SAS? Of course you do have an SAS. Why aren't you being a bitch? Right. Now accelerate. Now, the fun part about this is that... Oh, Jesus. There we go. There we go. Excellent. The fun part about this is that it's compact enough and efficient enough that it can actually function in 4x, which is a good thing since it is a bit heavy, actually, as you might have noticed. So, right now, I suppose we will do a straight burn for it. Not much else to do. And this will take a minute or two, unfortunately, but yeah. The bit I'm worried about the most is the actual landing, because we don't have a lot of fuel in these. We can't afford to have a lot of fuel, because that would make it really difficult to launch. And that leads us, and of course it would also screw up the building in various ways. So that leaves us with a problem of maneuvering ourselves in position. So with the next modules, we might have trouble getting them close enough to, you know, act as a single station. Here's a thought. I think I will have a rover there as well to, you know, act as transportation and a study vehicle for the base. Fun times, eh? Okay, we're past the moon's orbit. Our apoapsis anyway. And burn for an escape trajectory. Right. Angle should be good. Yeah, that's not going up as high, as quickly as I might want, but there's nothing I can do about that. Since we are too far out of Kerbin's gravity well to really take that much advantage of the gravity slingshot effect, unfortunately. Well, what can you do? But all in all, mission is proceeding according to plan, more or less. Nobody is tearing out their hair in this. Okay, we are bit inefficient on our phase angle with Duna, unfortunately. But that can't really be helped. We will get an intercept, though, even though it will be less than ideal. All the same. Yeah, so news about the 0.19, for those of you who don't frequent the forums. Apparently the re-entry mechanisms will be cosmetic only, with maybe slight turbulence added in, so your ships won't burn up on this version if you screw it up. Not on this version, but there will be resources. I don't know. Okay, let's turn back around. But in any case, there will be resource, so we will probably try to build a proper mothership, that can refuel on various planets, and we'll travel around the solar system, having wonderful time exploring everything. Okay, that's about as good as it's gonna get, I think. Okay, right on the blue, we want to do. Oh, and incidentally, you're wondering how I have this high turnability with a computerized system. It's because I have one of these. I added it as a makeshift SIS module to help me turn the ship, because the SIS modules in this version of the game no longer help your ship turn. I do not enjoy that, so I fixed it. I perhaps seriously. Okay, that will get rid of our ascending descending stuff, which will make us come in more horizontally, which would help, and in turn will make it easier to get the kind of orbit we want. Speaking of, we will use the transfer stage to help us maneuver with the future craft. I'm launching this one first because it is the heaviest, and as such it will have the least maneuverability when close to the ground. So, well, you get the idea. Hopefully we will be able to land these precisely without too much trouble once we start launching the next pieces. I do have a signal tower, I do have a tower with solar arrays and antennas planned to act as a signal system for the Duna base, and yeah, and a greenhouse to provide them with life support and food. So that should make for a small but self-sufficient system. At least that's the idea. We'll see how that goes. Excuse me, wires again, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, I don't know, we might have some extra stuff for the science station in Duna. In fact, we might land one on Ike, a smaller one. Well, not so much a smaller one as one that's in like a single piece. There, and yeah, and we'll definitely want to put crew down on the surface there, and we'll also want to have a lander there that can take them off. I'll use my Duna and back design. You know, the one I demonstrated in the DSS bonus mission. And yeah, we'll use that, even though it managed to die when returning to Kerbin, and I know how unencouraging that is. I suppose we will align ourselves with Ike here. And it's crazily rotating apparently, which I do not like. We want to land on the sunny side, I believe. Okay. Come on. Do they not use that SAS to compensate for... No, I think they do. Or the computer system does. Okay, so we would come in on the sunny side and... Okay, I want to have a good idea as to... I want to land on the... in this, damn it, big system of craters. Here you can just see it coming onto the sunny side of the planet there. Right, that's what I want. Okay, let's bring that down for a start, then we'll see. Although, let's... Damn, we have a lot of orbital speed actually. That... well, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it really shouldn't be. We should manage. But that does worry me somewhat. Let's adjust our north-south status a bit. That is looking good. Turn a bit that way. Here we go. On the 90-degree mark now. Our inclination should be pretty insane actually, since we're in a 270 orbiter. Well, 270 heading anyway. But all the same, that should be alright. Forex definitely helps with this, and we still have plenty of fuel here, so we're good on that. We don't want that stage to be too heavy as we come in for a landing maneuver, since that will make things harder for us. As far as, you know, pinpoint landing things go. So, there we go, we are... Nope, let's just push ourselves into a 90-degree orbit, and we need to be slightly northwards here. There we go, that should be okay. Keep killing that vertical speed, and oh, is that tempting or is that tempting? But no, we cannot. Okay, now we keep burning. Okay, fuel is good. All in all, I think we'll do fine. At least on the first landing. Hopefully we'll manage to land all the pieces together properly, because having to regularly bring food here as well as fuel and all the other stuff is... I don't like that. Okay, that looks like an encounter. Alright. So much for that. Okay, we are mostly in orbit. Almost. Yeah, we had a less than less than ideal a transfer trajectory, which means we came in here into Duna sphere of influence, I mean, very quickly and with a great deal of... Well, we wasted more fuel on the transfer and yeah, it was suboptimal all the way really. And we still seem to have enough fuel to manage all the maneuvers we need and have some left over for landing maneuvers if those should prove necessary. Right, we are almost, and I have used that term before in this video a minute or so ago, but okay, the capture part is more or less done now. We'll have a stable, if highly high altitude orbit. Okay, we can bring that down like that. There we go. Okay, that should leave Dilo out of our hair as we do this. Right, and there we are. Our periapsis is good. Okay. Ooh, that's close. Right, now I'm gonna turn northwards and kill this node. That will allow us to, if we come in at more or less the same inclination, like on the equator, that will make it easier for our ships to be close to each other, and that will have to be good enough, I believe. Right, and alright, the planet is rotating slowly enough. Well, maybe not. We might have to do an orbit or two while we do wait for our moment, but all the same, I think we'll be able to set up a landing somewhere in on those planes, which actually has the additional advantage of having decent parachuting options. Well, atmosphere is thicker lower down, so we can get more drag, which means that when we deploy parachutes we can slow ourselves down a lot faster than elsewhere, and that just allows us to pick our landing spot, like wait until you're over your spot and then just toggle the parachutes and shoot down. Gonna bring that into 600 or so, and then I'll actually screw that. We're coming in on this approach, on this pass. Next orbit at periapsis, well, this orbit at periapsis, we are doing a approach burn. Okay, that fuel is less ideal than I would like, but we can't help that now, and I think we are gonna be okay all the same. Okay, gonna wait until we are past it, like so. Yeah, that ought to be good. Maybe not quite. Actually, let's wait a bit and land in this basin here. Now let's kill our lateral movement so that we scrape across the atmosphere like crazy people. That's making it go up. We don't want it to go up. We want it to go down. And we want it to go... crap. Oh, nodes. Yeah, that's the best we're gonna get on this. Right. Okay. That should be okay-ish. Right, now we need staging these four first, then decouple and ignite that, and then the rest of the chutes. Come on. Actually, yes, we'll deploy these first, just in case, and for balance and stuff. Cause epicness. Yeah, and we're gonna come in towards the west side of that basin there, I think. Well, or in the middle of it somewhere. In either case, it shouldn't be too bad. Alright, right now I want to turn retrograde, I believe. Okay. There we go. Alright. That looks like we're coming in a bit short of our target, so let's do this. And on future thingies we'll be able to use the target marker, since we'll just target the Dunbase Alpha living ship. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna be calling it, the Dunbase Alpha. Cause, you know, everything needs a snappy name. Turn back towards retrograde. Altitude is starting to drop. We're gonna start getting some serious speed lossage due to drag right now. Well, we're already starting to get some. Alright, losing a lot of speed. Deploy these, get ourselves a bit of drag going to slow ourselves down. Let's in fact burn up some of our fuel because... Ooh, yeah. Okay, that probably broke all the glassware. But alright, we are coming straight down. Okay, we are staying the way we want to be. Why the fuck did that not decouple properly? Seriously? Is that how it's gonna be? Or is it stuck on in some weird way? Hope not. Well, in any case, let's deploy these. Deploy our gear. And... yeah. Okay, those are fully deployed. We don't have too much problems there. Stuff is looking good. Deploy the chutes. Alright. Yeah, if it's on the final stage, it gets screwed up apparently. Tiny amounts of thrust, please. The tiniest. Just sip that fuel. And we are down. Let's do the honors. And there we are. I hope you enjoyed this. And after we deploy the ladder, so that people can get on after they arrive here, hopefully, if that doesn't get in the way. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye for now.